There's nothing coming between me and this belt. You know, Nick Diaz is gonna have to knock me out. They're gonna have to carry me out of this place. But that's not gonna happen.
I've been training martial arts my whole life. I've been training my whole life for this. I want to become UFC champion.
I'm here for one reason and one reason only. I'm gonna kick Nick Diaz's ass and I'm gonna take home that title belt.
Earlier tonight, the arrival of the former Strikeforce welterweight champion, Nick Diaz, who returned to the octagon triumphantly, scoring his 11th straight victory in a dominant performance against BJ Penn. Tonight, the Southpaw will look for more of the same as he battles Carlos Condit, the former WEC welterweight champion who is coming off back-to-back knockout of the night performances against Dan Hardy and Dong Young Kim. So later tonight, the UFC interim welterweight title is on the line, and later this month, the Octagon makes its long-awaited return to the land of the rising sun. We take a final look in the locker room of Nick Diaz, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Cesar Gracie, who has developed into one of the most dangerous strikers in mixed martial arts today. We also take a final look inside the locker room of the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit, the last welterweight champion in WEC history, who has been defeated only one time since June of 2006. And knows that a win tonight over Nick Diaz puts him in prime position to fight George St. Pierre for the UFC Welterweight Championship. But first, from the executive producer of The Ultimate Fighter comes Full Metal Jousting.
I'm the most well-rounded fighter in the world.
I feel like I'm a more technical fighter than Diaz. I have more weapons in my arsenal. I just bring some different stuff to the table.
This is an amazing fight for the interim title against two guys who easily could be the very best 170-pound fighter on the planet.
Where you at, Carlos? When Nick Diaz smells blood like this, he swarms vicious hooks to the body.
In order to love fighting, I have to hate it.
Daily in trouble.
You gotta love it so you want it so bad. You're forcing yourself over that line, over that limit. But once they say go, it's go. I'm just a different athlete, that's all.
This guy's striking continues to improve exponentially.
I'm a warrior. That's what I am, and I always knew I was. Nick is very good at what he does, but the question is whether he's going to be able to take as much punishment as I'm going to dish out.
Condit with a flying knee. Looking to finish him off.
I love to fight. This is my passion. I would do it for free. Putting it all on the line, I expect to win. I have the skills and the abilities to take Nick Diaz out.
We have not seen Condit throw that kind of power in the UFC before.
I am the better stand-up fighter.
We'll see what happens.
Nick Diaz is relentless.
He can take a good shot, but if he take knees, he's going to be able to take elbows.
Nice elbow by Condit.
You know, it's a different thing when, you know, it's a shin across your face.
That's a nice thought, you know, right? Go out there and throw some kicks and some elbows and win the fight. Can you get that stuff off when you're running backwards?
I want to use my technical abilities to destroy him.
It doesn't work like that. I'm gonna win, just the way it is.
I'm taking that belt home or I'm going to die trying.
the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit, the last champion in the welterweight division of the WEC. 13 career wins by submission, 13 career wins by knockout or TKO. Joe, Carlos Condit has never been knocked out or stopped with strikes and has a very active submission game. Like his opponent tonight, Carlos Condit has never lost a championship fight, and he doesn't plan on losing tonight.
Well, he has shown his durability, especially in the Jake Ellenberger fight. He was caught in that first round with some big shots, weathered the storm, and came back to win a very close decision. He has shown the ability to come back. He has shown the ability to adjust. He also showed that in the Rory McDonald fight. Lost the first 2 rounds, stopped Rory in the 3rd round. He is the elite of the elite in this 170-pound division.
Carlos Condit last fought in July, and it's been a wild ride to get to this point for certain. In October, he was scheduled to fight BJ Penn. George St. Pierre was scheduled to fight Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz didn't come to a couple press conferences, so then Carlos Condit was told he's gonna go 5 rounds for the championship against St. Pierre. Then St. Pierre gets hurt. BJ Penn scheduled to fight Nick Diaz, and he steps aside for a moment. Then he was scheduled to fight Josh Koscheck. And with GSP out of the mix, that brings us to tonight and Carlos Condit's opportunity to leave as the new UFC interim welterweight champion and assure himself a future date with the longtime welterweight champion. Joe, the UFC Primetime done to preview this fight between Nick Diaz and Carlos Condit tonight was absolutely sensational. It was so because of Carlos Condit and Nick Diaz and what they're all about, their fighting DNA. But I think the best quote that I heard from the longtime trainer of Nick Diaz, the great Cesar Gracie, is that Nick shuns the spotlight and craves only combat.
Well, you know, what Cesar Gracie had said about him, that he doesn't like the pretentiousness of press conferences. It's true, man. This guy is as real as it gets. When it comes to fighting, there's very few guys like Nick Diaz. First of all, his approach to the game is completely unique. His style is completely unique. The way he attacks is unique. His endurance level. There's very few human beings, forget about fighters, but very few people, even endurance athletes, that have the aerobic capability that Nick Diaz has.
Nick Diaz steps into the United States Marine Corps prep point. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Nick Diaz drags fighters into a pace that they cannot sustain because he knows that his endurance threshold is so much higher than the average person's. One of the days they came to watch him train, he sparred 15 rounds, ran 5 miles, and then swam for an hour and a half. Who the hell does that? Who has swam from Alcatraz twice for a goof? Nick Diaz, that's who. That's a rare human being. And the pace that he can put up and sustain is second to none. And it is one of his tools that he carries with him into the octagon, as well as some of the best boxing in MMA and world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Both men have excellent jiu-jitsu. Both men love to strike. Both men define mixed martial artists. Both men truly represent the fighting spirit of the UFC. Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening, is brought to you by UFC Undisputed 3. In stores, February 14th. 28-year-old Diaz against 27-year-old Condit, who is 2 inches taller. The reach is identical. With the official introductions of our main event, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Bud Light, sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, with Chairman Skip Avancino, Executive Director Keith Kazar, Commissioners Francisco Aguilar, Bill Brady, TJ Day, and Pat Lundvall. Our lead physician, Dr. James Game. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Junichiro Kamiho, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Cecil Peoples. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Steve Mazzagatti. This bout is sponsored by Bud Light. Here we go. Dodge, the official automobile of the UFC. Metro PCS, wireless for all. And now, live from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, it's time! 5 rounds for the interim UFC welterweight championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 27 wins, 5 losses, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, he is the former WEC welterweight champion, the natural born killer, Carlos Condit! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu fighter, holding a professional record, 27 wins, 7 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Stockton, California, ladies and gentlemen, he is the former WEC and Strikeforce welterweight champion, Nick Diaz!
All right, gentlemen, this is it. 5 rounds. It will be a fair and clean fight. Obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Now hook them up.
Right away, they can't wait.
This is awesome. George St. Pierre, the welterweight champion, has said on numerous occasions he wants Nick Diaz to win tonight so he can put a fist in Nick Diaz's face. No disrespect to Carlos Condit in that statement. Tonight's clock brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. One very interesting stat, very interesting aspect of this fight is Nick Diaz has never fought anyone as tall as Condit or with the reach as long as Condit's, which is identical to the reach of Nick Diaz. Interesting to see if that factors into the game plan, because usually Nick uses his length to great degrees.
Nick has an excellent jab.
They turn on the end of their punches as well as anybody. The much more diversified striker is Carlos Condit.
They definitely have different approaches. Nick throws a lot of things at half power, but with a lot of volume to them. And what he does is he hits you so many times you can't breathe. And he tagged him with a nice left hand there.
Constant pressure.
Carlos throws power shots.
Yep.
Very, very different approach.
Constant pressure, 70% power, but it's the accumulation that does the damage. I mean, Nick Diaz
broke a UFC record for significant strikes landed in his fight against BJ Penn that his younger brother Nate since surpassed. I mean, he threw nearly 200 significant punches that landed on BJ Penn in his last entrance into the octagon right here in Mandalay Bay in October.
Nick Diaz has this rare ability to make fighters back up and then look desperate and start flailing at him. It is a very rare gift that he has with his style, his experience, and his ability.
And the kick thrown by Nick.
To put guys into a desperation mode.
Well, it's Richard Perez that they have worked on their boxing technique with, both Diaz brothers, since 2004. And you can make the argument they possess the best boxing in MMA today. It's unorthodox, yes, but it's extremely effective. Condit, also a cardio freak like Diaz, trains in the mountains as high as 11,000 feet above sea level in Albuquerque.
That was a powerful leg kick there landed by Condit. And the more of those he can get off, the more he can slow down the movement of Nick Diaz. And Nick landed a nice one of his own on the back leg.
Of course, Condit shares some common coaches with GSP.
Nick has started talking to him.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
And that bothers guys. That bothers guys a lot.
This is what Nick wants to do, but Carlos is utilizing nice movement, Joe. Not standing there and letting Diaz get in his face and start to go.
Hands down. And talking all kinds of crap.
But I think the question is Carlos a veteran enough to work through that? I mean, they've discussed that every day for the last, however weeks he's been preparing to fight Nick Diaz. Don't let him, lure you into his game with the trash talking. Stick to your game plan. Utilize your wide array of striking weapons. Nice body.
Combination. A good leg kick on the outside by Condit.
Body head by Nick, and then Condit on the counter. 1 minute on the clock, first of a potential five-minute rounds. The last time Nick Diaz was stopped by punches was in 2002.
Against Jeremy Jackson.
Yep. He was stopped by a cut against KJ Noons in 2007. He has won 11 straight. He's never been submitted. He's finished 9 of his last 11 opponents. The spin was blocked. Three straight post-fight bonuses for Condit. And his wins over Rory McDonald, Dan Hardy, and Dong Yong Kim. Pretty even round one, Joe.
It's crazy how Diaz throws those kicks. It's almost like he's not really trying to hit him. He's throwing them like half speed. He's so relaxed in there. Look at this.
Crossed his arms. Yeah. Corner Cam brought to you by Corn Nuts, the official corn snack of the UFC. Corn Nuts, corn to the core. There's Richard Perez and Nate Diaz, the younger brother of Nick in the corner, former Strikeforce champion.
Okay, when you're gonna miss the cage,
deep breaths.
Deep breaths. Come on, deep breaths out of the middle. When you get it back up against the cage, make it stand straight tall. Okay? So what you're gonna do is you pull that head, deep breath. And then go to the body.
That's it.
That's a good one.
There you go.
And then go to the body. You understand? And then back to the head. Rip that body. It's wide open. You can get him.
He's trying to make you chase him too and set some hard up.
Yeah, because you stand too straight up. That's when he's trying to throw.
Cut him off real good.
Perfect. Take some breaths for me. Take some breaths for me. He's getting frustrated. That leg kick, his leg kick's working all day long, all right? Exit on blue. Let's go. Exit on blue. You got stool?
Got your mouthpiece, huh?
You heard Mike Winkeljohn say that leg kick is working. They want him to take out the legs of Nick Diaz and continue with that attack.
All right, guys, second round.
Well, the one thing we have seen over the years of watching Nick Diaz fight in and out of the octagon is that His pace starts, I wouldn't say slow, Joe, but it starts at a nice quiet pace, and then it builds, and the momentum and the frequency and the accumulation just adds up because of the excellent cardio you talked about.
He feeds off guys getting tired because he knows that they don't train as hard as he does.
Flying knee missed. Carlos really trying to mix up his attack. Richard Perez is such a significant factor in the success of both Nick and Nate Diaz, too.
I got to tell you, Carlos looks a bit hesitant with these attacks, like that jumping knee and all these different techniques he's doing. It looks like he's a bit hesitant of the response of Nick Diaz. There's a mark on the right eye of Carlos Condit. Oh, very nice spinning back fist.
Diaz has outlanded every one of his UFC and Strikeforce opponents in terms of total strikes. So far, very even. Condit actually with 37 of 71, and 27 of 70 is Condit.
Look at this. Look at this. Have you ever seen anybody do that to Carlos Condit before?
Now that was the Stockton slap. Condit with those kicks. Triple jab trying to get inside was Diaz.
There's a nice switch kick by Condit to the left leg, or the right leg rather, of Nick Diaz.
Joe, immediately following our pay-per-view, tune into Fuel TV for the post-fight show. Hosted by Jake Glazer, Rashad Evans, Ariel Helwani will be backstage with analysis and exclusive interviews from the fighters, the winners, the losers, the battlers tonight inside the octagon.
Good combination by Nick Diaz. Carlos had landed a good body kick before that.
Carlos defending his title in the WEC 3 times, changing his stance for a moment. Goes southpaw. I like how he worked that one, yeah. Punch, kick, punch. Just over 2 in round 2.
Good combination by Diaz and a couple of good kicks by Condit.
Dismissed with that straight kick and ate a body shot.
Condit is doing a good job of continuing to move, and a nice body shot by Condit. And he is not allowing Nick Diaz to pressure him up against the cage and get off those high volume combinations that he likes to throw. Like this.
Yeah, that's punches and bunches.
Yeah,
that's what you call accumulation.
That is not what Carlos Condit wants. He's got to get out of there.
I mean, he's a guy, Carlos Condit, who goes for broke. Nick's a guy who breaks you down.
Yeah, there's a very big difference in their approach, and both of them are scary in their own ways.
Yep. Carlos Condit has never lost a fight in Las Vegas. Just over a minute now on the clock in round 2. No one scoring significant points thus far. It's an interesting side note that Nate Diaz just did such a nice job against Donald Cerrone, and Cerrone, a training partner of Carlos Condit, who's fighting
nice
Nick.
Body shot by Condit right there.
Yep, who's very similar in style. Carlos using a lot more movement right now. Final seconds of round number 2.
Well, you can tell Carlos Condit has clearly studied Nick Diaz's style.
Yep.
Look for holes in it.
He spun for that spinning back fist. Didn't really commit to it, though. Into the round. George St. Pierre watching very closely.
Breathe, Carlos, breathe. Here we go.
I want you to listen to me. Hey, calm down. Relax.
Slow down.
Just like simulation.
Big breaths, big breaths.
Hey, Carlos, all you got to do is keep moving and don't fall for it when he's talking to you. How many kids have we talked to growing up, me and you, brother? We know the game. Stay smart.
Carlos, here's some water. Okay, Carlos, when you're moving, you own
This is what Carlos Condit wants to avoid. Being trapped up against the cage with Nick Diaz and his vicious body assault. And Carlos attempted a knee there, but it missed.
Feints too, okay? Make him throw. Make him throw that shit.
Good job, brother. You're doing good.
Nick Diaz started training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at age 15, and MMA at age 18. Fight clock brought to you by Bud Light. Round 3, here we go. Head kick attempt early. Diaz outworks and outpaces most people. His first MMA coach, Steve Heath, learned from Cesar Gracie. He said of the Diaz brothers, they are loyal soldiers with focused rage.
Very nice combination by Carlos Condit. Finishing with the inside leg kick. And Carlos with a nice body shot and spun off the cage. Nice head kick.
Diaz doing a nice job of cutting off the octagon there and pressuring Condit, and again, he looks to do more of the same.
Mazzagati's really forced to work in this fight, man. He's moving around to avoid these guys.
Condit said Nick Diaz is the toughest man I have ever fought. Very focused, very fierce. Body, body.
Good
and
combination.
He went body, head, and followed it up with another combination.
I like how Condit landed those shots and got out of there, though, Mike. He's avoiding the traps that Nick Diaz is setting for him.
And that is as important as anything, because if you stand and allow Nick to go to work, you're going to come up beaten and battered.
Well, Carlos is getting off some good shots here. He's moving well, and he's not letting Nick Diaz do what he wants to do, which is pin him up against the cage and box him up.
Well, Carlos Condit is not only a great fighter, but he is a highly intelligent human being.
Very nice leg kick right there.
And he is sticking with the game plan put together in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that is to stay diversified and get out of the way when Diaz tries to corner you and start picking you apart.
Good kick there by Nick. Nice left hand by Nick.
The body shot from Carlos.
To move. So far, Carlos has shown no signs of slowing down.
Carlos's relationship with his father, Brian, well documented on Prime Time, very special. His wife, Seeger, his son, Owen. He wants his shot at GSP. He wants to spoil the Diaz-St. Pierre party.
Well, you know what? With all this movement of Carlos Condit and all these shots he's landing, Nick Diaz might very well want to step up the pace here.
It is Condit who's thrown more strikes thus far.
Yeah, and who knows how the judges are scoring this. Condit's landing a lot of very good strikes. Nick Diaz is certainly pressing the attack, controlling the center of the octagon, and pushing the pace, but Carlos is doing a really good job of evading Nick's strikes and landing his own. Nice leg kick. Good body kick as well.
And those first couple of kicks he threw from the southpaw stance. We knew coming in that Condit was the more diversified striker. And he has showcased that exact thing through nearly 15 rounds of this battle.
He's also showcased his ability to stick to an intelligent game plan.
Yep.
Good footwork. Nice.
His father, the chief of staff for many years for former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson.
He's talking to him again.
And this is what Carlos doesn't want, Lloyd. Oh,
Nice
my, how good was
combination.
that?
Carlos is getting loose here, Mike.
Yes, he is.
He's getting more and more confident. The jitters of the first couple of rounds have gone away. That's it. That's the Carlos Condit we know. Oh, good shot by Nick.
Both men with 27 wins
big
in their
left hand by
MMA
Nick
careers.
Diaz.
But slipping under further damage was Condit. Oh, flying knee. 40 seconds on the clock here in the third. Remember, this is a fight for the interim welterweight championship. It is our main event, and it is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Elbow. Diaz trying to hunt him down.
Side kick, spinning back fist.
The footwork of Condit is the key component to not allowing Diaz to start to accumulate those punches like he generally does.
The footwork and the kicks, he's throwing a lot of kicks, and utilizing the distance.
A slip, final seconds of the round though.
Got right back up to his feet. And Nick's chasing him. Great fight so far.
Here, sit down, brother.
No,
Nah,
let's stop it, man.
Nah, you're not in the cat.
Hey, Nick, he ain't got nothing no more, dog.
Prince, brother.
Nick, he ain't got nothing no more.
Princess.
You hear me? All you gotta do is go down the middle, get that body shot. Don't stand in front of him, though, because you're making this. Okay?
Hey, you can make him come to you, too, because he's not.
Here's a couple of good punches by Nick Diaz. A right to the body and a left to the face. And there's another one. And there's a nice combination by Condit.
That's it.
Very good movement by Carlos Condit in that round. And he seems more relaxed, Mike. He seems more comfortable finding his rhythm. And I suspect that Nick Diaz is going to pick up the pace in this round.
Hold on, man. Go back. Give me a second. Here we go, guys. Round 4.
Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz. Fight clock brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. Championship rounds. Interim welterweight title on the line. And a future date with George St. Pierre, who told me yesterday he should start his full MMA training about June or so, Joe, and should be ready to try to unify the title around November. He's been working out a lot, but got to be careful on that ACL, which was repaired. Sticking that jab out in the face of Condit, but right again, Condit gets out of the way and sticks to his game plan.
Yeah, Nick is having a really hard time cornering Carlos Condit.
You know, the one thing that is not surprising to me at all is the fact that Carlos Condit is a great challenge for Nick Diaz, because you and I have known that since the day this fight was signed. These are two of the best in the world at what they do. And they're both trying to implement their game plans on each other, and at times it goes to Diaz, at times it goes to Condit. So I don't think it should be any surprise to anybody, Joe, how close this has been. Carlos has stayed very busy with his strikes. Fight has not gone to the ground other than kind of that slip for a half a moment at the end of the round, which wouldn't even be considered being in the ground.
Nick Diaz landed a good combination there, and a front kick to the face by Condit. Nick Diaz, though, wants to corner Carlos Condit, and he has been really unable to do so.
Well, Carlos has done a great job, Joe, with teeps, leg kicks, front kicks, even the teep off the front, thigh area of his opponent. Diaz looking for a takedown here to keep Nick Diaz at distance where he can't do damage.
Nick drops down for a single but can't get it, and Carlos Condit lands a combination on the break.
I mean, Nick on top is as good as anybody.
If I was Nick Diaz's corner right now, I would start to get nervous. Nervous about losing a decision here. The movement of Carlos Condit, the volume of strikes that he's been landing, and his ability to avoid the attacks of Nick Diaz.
Now, depending on what the judges are looking for, some judges like the guy who's aggressive. They like the guy who's pushing the pace, but clearly Condit is the one who's landing more shots.
I would ask you too, is he the one being aggressive and pushing the pace?
Condit, no, I think Nick is pushing the pace, but Condit is avoiding Nick's movements and landing his own shots and counter.
Gotcha. And
continuing to move and not slowing down at all. He's obviously in outstanding shape. Body kick by Condit.
And again,
another leg kick.
And then he gets out of the way.
Yeah, the sheer volume of the strikes.
The edge and the volume of strikes goes to Condit thus far. We're in the 4th round of a potential 5. Nice uppercut followed by the kick.
Nice leg kick.
Switching stances. The left hand connects.
Yeah, if I was in Nick Diaz's corner right now, I would be worried. Oh! Nice combination by Carlos Condit.
And in the reaction of Greg Jackson in the corner, he had his arms raised like the fight would almost have just been won with that. That was beautiful. You know they've been looking to put together that combination that just worked throughout this fight.
And a real key to this fight is the fitness of Carlos Condit, because as we said, he hasn't slowed down.
No.
This is a difficult fight to fight. To be moving so much like that.
Well, you talked about the triathlete, which is Nick Diaz, but Carlos Condit for years has trained at altitude.
Yes, that absolutely helps. You know, that's one of the beautiful things about the Greg Jackson camp is that they're in New Mexico, and I believe it's 5,000 feet above sea level there.
And there are certain times he goes 11,000 feet up on the mountain. And then they have him do rounds. They have him push their trainers up the hill in the mountains, and you saw it on prime time. I mean, Carlos is as devoted to his cardio as Nick is. Under 30 now in the 4th. Catches the leg.
A nice combination. Even though he caught the leg, Carlos landed a punch. And Nick Diaz has been really stifled in this round, Mike.
Now it's Nick looking for some kicks.
He can't corner him. Carlos spins out.
Good round for the natural-born killer. Look at Nick holding on to his foot for a little extra second or two.
Beautiful, Carlos, beautiful. All right, I know you're not tired.
Bring it down, my brother.
That's it. I know you're not tired, but breathe anyway.
Relax.
Breathe anyway. Breathe anyway.
Hey, Carlos, your timing, your exit's beautiful.
And there you see a left hand by Carlos Condit. And there's a nice 1-2 combination, left kick and then a high kick with the right.
You got that last one, that's it. But you got the rest.
You're standing in front of him. Go back to the bottom. You're standing in front of him too much. And you're letting him run around.
You're up 3-1. Okay? Rinse him out. Take a drink.
I think Carlos Condit is winning this fight, Mike.
I would agree 100%. Carlos Condit has gone the distance just 3 times.
You know, I would have to go back and watch the first 2 rounds again, and you know, we're obviously not scoring it, we're commentating on it, not really analyzing every single strike that lands, but I believe that Condit is doing what he wants to do more than Diaz is.
But he has not gone the 25-minute distance as his defenses of his WEC title ended by submission, and TKO. 5th and final round. Our fight clock all night long brought to you by Bud Light. The winner will be the new UFC interim welterweight champion.
Again, Carlos spins out.
And he's tried to throw that spinning back fist about a dozen times.
Good body kick by Nick, partially blocked.
Nick switches his stance for a moment. If I'm Nick Diaz, I'm feeling a bit of sense of urgency here in the 5th.
He's throwing a lot more kicks because of that.
I mean, ahead or behind on the scorecards, it doesn't matter. There is uncertainty that exists right now.
Unquestionably. This is a close fight.
very few kicks. Condit has stayed busy, using all 8 limbs of his Muay Thai attack.
Diaz started off this round with more kicks than we've seen him earlier, but he stopped. And he's looking for that big left hand. There's one to the body.
You got to go all the way back to 02, as you mentioned earlier, to see the last time that Diaz was stopped by punches. Condit has never been knocked out or stopped with strikes.
Nice leg kick.
Just about to the midway.
Good right hand by Condit and a head kick.
The natural-born killer turning it up for a moment. And when he circles, he's getting off first. He's beating Diaz to the punch. Now he tries to tie up again, but now they're so slippery, Joe.
Nick's got the clinch. Let's see if he can drag this fight to the ground. No.
Diaz trying to get Condit to come forward to secure a potential takedown or set up a knockout punch, but Carlos disciplined with his movement and a nice connection there.
Forward, he comes forward and then he takes an angle, moves off to the side.
Yep.
He gets away from danger.
Oh, and another one connects.
Nice knee by Condit.
Champion versus champion. One man will leave with UFC gold around their waist. Under
Good
2.
combination by Condit.
11 straight wins for Nick Diaz. 12 of the last 13 fights have gone the way of Carlos Condit. 90 seconds left in this fight.
And again, Condit shows no signs of slowing down. Nick's got his back. Nick drives him to the ground. This could get tricky. Oh! Full back now for Nick.
Wow. The first takedown of this fight. And it goes to Nick Diaz.
Nick is going to try for an arm here, Mike.
May look for a potential choke or an armbar. Under a minute now.
He's got a body triangle around Carlos. And it looks to me that Nick is trying to attack the left arm. It's hard to tell. No, he's going around the neck.
35 seconds. Right now, Condit's tucking the chin. And he's trying to push his way out of this choke attempt, and he does.
He does, but Nick's still on his back.
But time is running out. 20 seconds left in this fight.
Nick may switch to an armbar if he can't get this choke.
10 seconds.
That's it. There's switches.
Final seconds of the fight. Condit's out.
And Condit's on top of him.
And it is over. It's gone the distance. Carlos Condit and Nick Diaz.
Look at this.
Fight for 25 minutes.
Sign of respect by these guys. I love to see that after all the trash talk in the middle of the fight. Both guys know that they faced a real fighter in there, a real elite fighter, and there's so few of them at this level that they must feel a sense of camaraderie despite the competition.
Well, you know what? That's why there was so little pre-fight banter back and forth.
Just massive respect.
Yeah, well, Nick relates to Carlos.
Yeah.
Because we said at the top of the show, fighting-wise, they have the same exact DNA. The fight has gone the distance. The judges will render their decision. The winner will be the new UFC interim welterweight champion. And our fight replay is brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go.
And here we see Carlos Condit with a kick and Nick Diaz with a nice two-punch combination. There's a nice right to the body and a left to the head. And another nice couple of punches. Nice combination here by Condit. And there's a flying roundhouse kick by Condit and a right hand and a left leg kick behind it. Kick to the face. And here's where Nick Diaz got his back. Drags him down. And I believe this probably won Nick Diaz the round. Will it be enough? Great fight. Whoever wins this fight, it was an excellent fight.
Carlos Condit and Nick Diaz wait for the judges to render their decision. Younger brother Nate. UFC CEO Lorenzo Fertitta talking to Nick Diaz.
Hey, listen.
Will it be Condit and St. Pierre or Diaz and St. Pierre?
It's an honor, guys. And big fight.
Here is Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 48-47, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision. And now, the interim UFC welterweight champion of the world, the natural born killer, Carlos Condit.
Carlos Condit is the new UFC interim welterweight champion.
I'm here with the winner and new interim welterweight champion, Carlos Condit. Carlos, you stuck to the game plan. You used a combination of great movement and fitness. You got the victory. How are you feeling right now?
Joe, I gotta tell you, it's pretty surreal, man. I couldn't have done it without my coaches and my teammates. They prepared me for this fight. I did what they told me to do, and I walked away with the victory.
It seemed like somewhere around the 3rd round, you really started to find your rhythm and really started to get comfortable out there. Is that a good assessment of how you were feeling in this fight?
Yeah, I would say so. In a lot of my other fights, I've kind of come on strong towards the later rounds, if they went to later rounds, and I did. I started to find my flow. Hats off to Nick Diaz. He's a warrior, man. I got nothing but admiration and respect for how he fights, and he came in here as beautiful. I hope you guys were entertained.
You had so much movement in this fight, and you know that one of Nick Diaz's big weapons is his fitness. How much did you concentrate on endurance training for this fight?
My endurance has always been a strong point. It's always been a part of my game where I feel like I can overcome my opponents and outpace them. And this fight, I was able to hang with him.
Well, listen, Carlos, huge victory for you. One of the biggest of your career. You are the new interim welterweight champion, and you will now be facing Georges St. Pierre for the undisputed title. Give us your thoughts on that.
It is an honor. George is a guy that I've looked up to since I was a young guy, since before I was in the UFC, and it's an honor to compete on this stage with guys like Nick Diaz, guys like Georges St. Pierre, and that's all I can say is I am completely honored.
Enjoy your victory. Congratulations on an excellent performance. Carlos Condit, ladies and gentlemen.
Carlos Condit, the new UFC interim champion.
All right, I'm here
Here's
with
Joe.
Nick Diaz. Nick, obviously it's a very close fight. Give us your thoughts on the decision.
I'm not going to accept the fact that this was a loss. I lost fights before where, I'm not gonna accept that either, that ain't right. I pushed him back the whole fight, I walked him down, I got the takedown. I'm the guy who went on top. Had I thought I wasn't ahead, I bet you anything I would have finished that arm lock. And, hey, Carlos is a great guy. I'm happy for him and his family. I think I'm done with this MMA. It's been great out here. I've had a good career. You guys pay me way too much, but I don't think I'm gonna get enough to keep going in this. And it's been a good time. Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Good job, Carlos. You're the man, bro.
Are you really thinking about retiring now?
I don't need this shit. You know what I mean? I pushed this guy backwards the whole time. He ran for me the whole fight. He ran this whole fight. He didn't throw. I landed the harder shots. He ran the whole time. He kicked me in my leg with little baby leg kicks the whole fight. So that was the way they understand how to win in here. I don't want to play this game no more.
Nick, you're a great fighter. I hope you reconsider and come back. It's an honor to watch you perform.
Dude, I help out my team and my brother and everybody else. I'm out of this shit.
Nick Diaz, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. I don't know if there's anything you can say other than that. Tonight's Nick Diaz-Carlos Condit fight was presented by Muscle Farm, fueling athletes safely. Carlos Condit stuck to the game plan, and because of that, he has the UFC interim welterweight championship belt around his waist.